What's going on, world? This is Word on the Streets, episode 6. We have a lot to talk about with 3x3. I'm right now is your man, the energy, Vince Chang to the left, one of the GOATs to the game, Kyle Montgomery, aka The Voice, and another person who's played the game also has been GOATed, Bas Rozendaal, aka The Mountain. A lot of things just happened. Champions Cup went underway, first time ever. It was pretty dope. And also, we got the Asia Cup that's coming right around the corner. And lastly, Kyle Montgomery is now a cyborg, also probably an android. Because every time something new happens, a new body part shuts down and it gets a new one. But
I'm
that's
ready.
it. So let's talk about it. Episode 6, because this is
Word on
on
the
the
streets.
streets. Episode 6 is crazy. Before we get started, Kyle, you've been going through so much. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for asking, bro. I had surgery on my spine. I had some compressed discs. Scary moment for me, to be completely honest, but I had the surgery and everything's good now. I'm on the mend. Of course, I made the trip out to Bangkok. Look, y'all, I was not going to miss the first Champions Cup.
All
I
right, all
would,
right.
look, y'all know my history. I've come with broken bones, spine hurt. Look, so I'm good. I'm doing good now, and of course, we head to the Asia Cup too. So,
Oh,
no need to
man.
worry, fellas. No
Well, I'm
need.
glad you're feeling better. You know, again, you're my mentor. I was praying for you every single day. But another
Thank
thing
you,
I have to
bro.
mention is that the mountain had a little hill, has a nice addition to the family. Boz, what's going on over there in the Rosedale household?
As you can see, I am very sleep deprived. I'm looking very tired. But yeah, man, look, my son stepped into this world. Seth ordered Pieter Rozendaal verwoord, and I'm very happy with him. He's a bundle of joy. And he's actually, sleeping well. He's doing really good. His big sister, Sar, is enjoying life, as a big sister. And again, I'm decently sleep deprived. So if I'm rambling at some point during the episode, y'all let me know, yeah?
It's the
We'll let you
greatest
know.
gift in the world, boss. The gift
Yes.
of life.
Yes.
Two-time dad. Congrats, bro. I'm so happy for you, man.
Back to back. Shout out to Kirsten. I mean, she did all the work. You just,
Yeah,
you know.
Kirsten, straight up.
True, she did all the work, and it was let's just say that me being 7 foot tall does not produce small babies, so she had to really work at this one.
Oh man, like I was thinking about that too. Like all you did was start the game. She's the one that's shooting, rebounding, diving like Dennis Rodman. But now the game is on, and now the family's getting bigger. So proud of you. And also, we may have a surprise for everyone watching. Again, all these episodes have been great. We're gonna talk about episode 5 in just a moment, but we may have something special for episode 7. Just giving a little teaser.
Little
But
taste.
let's talk about the recap. Last episode, Kyle, you're handling your business. Me and
Yeah.
Boz held it down. We were talking about the Champions Cup. Boz, why don't you take it away? Because this cup was a little interesting. One was kind of obvious, but something else kind of happened that we all enjoyed.
Yes, I mean it was an interesting cup. Let's start off by saying that both me and Vince, our predictions were horribly wrong, especially on the men's side. That those teams did not come through as was expected in Vince's case, but in my case, I've really had some hopes.
Whoa, whoa,
Um,
whoa. Jerk.
No, but look, first ever edition of the Champions Cup. It looked cool. Venue looked pretty dope. The games were, some of them were pretty good. Let's just say that. Kyle, you were there. I mean, maybe have some insights on the happenings in that tournament before we dive into our takes.
Yeah. I'll say this first. Listen, you have not had pad thai until you've been to Thailand. You understand? That food, that cuisine out there, boss. I know you would really appreciate this. You too,
I
Vince.
can't
But
wait.
it was delicious. Now the downside was it was hot as hell out there, man. Hey, I ain't even gonna hold you. It was so getting hot out there. We were suffering. I felt bad for the players, but as far as the tournament went, I thought it was a good introduction. I think that it has some potential for some real stand power. I think the deal is for like 5 years anyway, so uh, people should get used to it. But I think that it's got great potential. I'd like to see teams field their best squads, though.
Yeah.
I want to see the A team for every country, in this competition going forward. I know it's hard because, and Boz, you chomping at the bit. It's difficult because it's the first event of the season. You got teams preparing for the Pro Tour, and the Women's Series is coming up, and also you got women's players, some of the top women's players that are playing in their respective leagues in their country. So the availability may not be there. I understand that there are some hiccups, so to speak, when it comes to putting the best roster out. But call me greedy. I want to see the best of the best in that event.
Look, yeah, I want to, please. I fully agreed. So the one thing you mentioned, and that's what really showed to me, is that a lot of women's top players in 3x3 are also still playing 5-on-5 basketball. Whereas on the men's side, players are fully dedicated to this side of basketball, to this 3x3 game. It was very clear to me that on the women's side, a lot of people are still playing 5-on-5, weren't available for this tournament, right? Which is odd to me, because I'm here in the Netherlands. We do have full-time facilities on the women's side, even though they dabble in 5-on-5, but it's not nothing too serious. But I figured there'd be more countries all in on that side of the ball. The one thing I thought about, though, while I was watching is like, all right, look, if we want to up the level of play, and if we want to have the very best players present at the Champions Cup, it should be more incentivized to play there. Right now, the incentive was a couple of spots at the World Tour, some guest spots at the Women's Series. Clearly not enough for federations to make this a priority, right? Look, again, some especially on the women's side, some federations just sent the youth squad, which is fine. You want to have them get their feet wet, but it's also a tournament that FIBA is really like trying to push. It's a big tournament. I like the concept of it. We see something similar in the Olympic qualifications, where we see the Zone Cup winners, kind of play into each other, battle for an Olympic ticket. It's a very high level of play, and that wasn't the case in this tournament. It wasn't the highest level of play. Teams weren't fully prepared and didn't bring their best players. I'd like to see some more incentive, but it's tough, because it's also national team 3x3 basketball, so there's no prize money. It will always be a spot in the pro circuit, or a spot in maybe the next World Cup, or maybe in the next Zone Cup. So my guess is this tournament will be really, really good the year before the next Olympics, because I think there is going to be some Olympic qualification implications. Yes, that was the word I was looking for. I think that will be a part of this tournament, and I think that's going to push federations to really go for it at that Champions Cup.
Yeah. Well, winners of this first edition got tickets to the World Cup. Yeah. So that's a start there, but I do think that's coming down the pike too, Bas. Yeah. You're
That's true. But don't forget, with 3x3, we have the OQTs. I mean, if we have multiple of them, that'll be great. Champions Cup, it's like, hey, you win this, you get that. But I just want to talk about that, Bas. You looked at all the teams, especially on the women's side. France, brand new. We saw with Spain, have 3 also kind of new players. The German squad, they just said, hey, let's see what happens. And China as well. And you get to see young talent in this. And also, this is the inaugural event. I also think some of these players didn't know what to expect. They're like, okay, this 3x3 is trying to add some more, games on our schedule. But really, what are we doing here? But to us, the FIBA 3x3 fans, and we'll love the game. No, we want to see the talent. Don't make this like the NBA All-Star games, or how sometimes USA will say, oh, we're going to send some players, and then when they lose, they go, oh, we didn't have our best squad. Stop having regrets. If you want to be the best from the start.
Let me get one more in, Kyle, before I go to you. I understand what you're saying. Just to add to this, right? We know that national team level of play is where a lot of new people come and watch the game. The Olympics is where they see 3x3 for the first time. Then they maybe tune into a Europe Cup. They're not as fast to move into the pro circuits. They are more likely to watch more national team events, which is, I think, a big reason why the Champions Cup was created. Now, for people to have watched the Olympics, then, have the Champions Cup kind of dangled in front of them as the next big thing, with all these Zone Cup winners and all these good teams, and then for the level of play to kind of drop off significantly, that's not a good look, man. I'm hoping for it to be incentivized more so we can get more people into this beautiful game of 3x3 basketball. And I don't know if the Champions Cup did that this time.
Well, I will say this. We're talking about teams putting their, federations putting their best squads out there. Netherlands had their full team there, Bas.
The Olympic squad.
The USA had the team that they're going with.
True.
Now, right? That was a full squad. But on the other side of that, and I guess we can start getting into our three takeaways, if y'all don't mind me jumping in the
No, go
lead
ahead.
here. One of my takeaways, my biggest takeaways from the Champions Cup was I think coaching staffs use that as an opportunity to look at the talent that they have coming in the future. So, for Serbia, for example, you didn't see Majstorovic, you didn't see Stojicic, you didn't see Barac, right? It wasn't their A team. Brankovic was there. But I do think that they're obviously looking at Milivojevic. He's a young emerging star, and Nenad Naranjic as the future of Serbian 3x3 basketball. So this was an opportunity for them to play in a big event, get some experience together, give the coaching staff an extended look at them in a tournament format. And I think those two in particular, they knocked it out of the park. I think when it comes to Serbian 3x3, Majstorovic ain't gonna play forever. Even Strahinja, he's not old, but he ain't young. He's not gonna play forever. They've got to start looking down the pike some and see their talent pool and who they're going to be able to lean on going forward. So for Milivojevic, this was his first national team nod. Same thing for Naranjic, the first time wearing a national team Serbian jersey. And Naranjic was crazy. I mean, the first cut, he had one bad game. And Milivojevic in the final, going bucket for bucket with Worthy, to me, he showed me something. This is going to be a big year for him. And I think those two guys are going to be at the forefront of Serbian 3x3 in the next 4 to 5 years.
Were you not entertained for 3x3? I mean, I'm telling you, the Gladiator put on that show. I was like, hey, yo, Serbia, you made a great addition. To me, no, it felt like when Kevin Durant was added to the Golden State Warriors. And you said, why? Like, why you need that firepower? Why? He showed out.
Well, yes.
Damn well, it doesn't look like the Slim Reaper.
Pump your brakes there, Vince. Wait a second. The Golden State Warriors were a championship. They were absolutely loaded, and they were full of stars. Okay, that was their, I would say, their C team. B team for sure.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the way that he meshed with that team so beautifully. It was very nice to see him, how he was able to use Brankovic and, find Naranjic. Like he was also unselfish, but when he wanted to go, he went. To
me, it was his team. Yeah. Brankovic wasn't aggressive offensively. It was when Milivojevic saw that Naranjic was struggling. I think in the semifinal, he missed like maybe 6 or 7 layups. Y'all watched the game.
Oh, yeah.
He went from completely obliterating the competition up to that point. And Milivojevic, I think we saw him kind of grow up before our eyes. The opportunity was in front of him. They going against the Olympic champions, minus Arvin Slaughter, but you got BA in there. I mean, he's as tough as they come too. Mm-hmm. And he stared them dead in the eyes, and he made bucket after bucket. We didn't even talk about his game winner in the semis in OT over Australia. I mean, he played huge the entire tournament. So I think when the time comes, I mean, he's going to have to bide his time now. I mean, Strahinja ain't going nowhere no time soon. They're going to have that core, Serbian team together. But once guys start to retire, Milivojevic's going to get that call. And Naranjic, who I think could be the best big man in 3x3 in the next 2 to 3 years, he going to get that call. Them two boys, they locked in.
Before we go, Bas, just want to say this. That's what I was saying at it, because you still have Strahinja and Majstorovic still chilling on the bench. He's now part of that squad now, part of that national team. So it's going to get better. But Bas, what are you going to say?
No, look, I think one of my questions heading into the tournament was how will Milivojevic play with better talent around him? Nothing, nothing, not to discredit Stefan Torbica and Bogdan Dragovic and all the other guys on Partizan, but I think clearly the talent level on this team was a step up from that team. And he performed well. I mean, he really did hit the biggest shots in the tournament, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, all love to him. I'm curious to see if that translates to the pro circuit this year, if he steps it up on his team Partizan and the World Tour as well. But let me talk about teams that didn't step it up. What the heck happened to Team France, both in men's and women's? What the heck happened to France? Look, I hyped them coming in. French men were my pick to win the damn tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were my
Yeah.
pick to win the tournament. I thought they were going to take a step up from last year after getting to all the finals on the pro circuit, on the world tour, runners up at the Olympics, doing well in all these competitions. I figured they'd take their off season, switch from Team Paris to Team Toulouse, practice, do their own thing, and come into the Champions Cup and be ready and sharp. And bro, were they not? Oh my goodness. They were horrible.
Yeah.
And look, not all the games they played were bad. They beat Australia, but I have to say they looked a bit rusty in that one. But then they played Team USA, and they got smacked 21-11. Like, they knocked out of the park. That left the door open for a three-way tie, which ended up happening. They beat the socks off of Thailand, but whatever. That's a game that you can kind of write off.
Yeah.
But scoring was okay. Shooting percentage were okay. I think they had too much Segela going on. I'm looking at one guy. He was trying his best defensively, and he always does. Paul Joko, 1.7 points per game, 0 for 6 from range on the tournament, did not create his own shot whatsoever, could not get it going at all. You can't be a non-scoring option in a 3x3 team. I know he's a defensive specialist. I know that's his role, but you cannot be a non-scorer at all. There's no longer a place for a player
What
like
about
that.
Hugo? Suhard played poorly too.
Oh, I know. But he he wasn't aggressive. But at least got the 4 points per game. His shooting splits weren't all that bad. No, look, he didn't hit the big shots like he usually does. His pick and roll game with Rambo wasn't really going. I think teams kind of snuffed that out, but they went into one-on-one action a lot. I hate that. They're a team-oriented, flow-based basketball team. They find each other, they screen, they roll, and they get a lot of action off of that. Now it was just Segela and Suhard trying to go and see who got to the bucket first. I didn't like it at all, and that was just on the men's side. We've talked about the women's competition, and they said the team, they were a little bit late on the years. Let's just say that. After winning the women's series, so the pro circuit on the women's side last year, runners up at the Europe Cup. Now, they stunk at the Olympics, obviously. I figured they would come in and be very sharp in this tournament. But dear Lord, they could not do anything. They didn't have a go-to scorer. They shot a frigid 18% from long range. They really didn't have anybody out there. I don't understand how you can come into a tournament and do that.
Because they lost to Thailand.
I know. Wow.
And no disrespect to but come on, man.
I'm going to talk about Thailand later because I like them. I did like them. I'm going to talk about them later.
I was more disappointed in the women's team than more disappointed in the men's team, French team, than the women's French team. I didn't know what to expect from the women's French team because a lot of new faces on it, but the men's French team. Oh, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. Austria, are you kidding? Those two, France and Austria.
Yeah.
The men's competition, to me, Austria looked like they didn't want to even be there. That was despicable. Yeah, I was grossly unimpressed with both of those teams.
I mean, I'm an Austrian fan. I know they could play better. I mean, but even though it was a 7-point win, Madagascar was still trying to best around them. And it could have went either way in that game if it's like a couple of twos went down. And like you said, they had the posture of, why are we here? I think it was like, what did they say? Why are we here? You're here to win. You're there to compete. There was no competition. Like, going to France, Segela, I always have confidence that he's going to turn up and at least try to get some energy and push his guys to get some point. No, I don't know. Maybe they just weren't excited for the game. Maybe they're jet lagged. Maybe they had too much pad time. But it wasn't the competition I wanted. But I did want to say what Bas said before. This is the cup. And also an event that people will start following 3x3. And I just want to say a quick shout out to our new followers that's been following us for this podcast. Right there, Word on the Streets. All right. Again, Word on the Streets. Replace the E's with threes. Thank you so much for pressing that follow button. But if you have a tournament like this, some people may not want to see this again because now they're going like my national team that won this cup and this plays trash here because isn't this where you're supposed to prove you're the best? Well, I'm going to turn on the channel no more. But Bas, I think I just want to give some shout outs to Thailand though, because we couldn't pronounce none of their names last episode. And they showed some work though. I gotta admit, I like them a lot. What are your opinions on that?
Oh, look, I was sitting on the couch. My son was 2 days old, so I was watching the tournament with a newborn cradled in my arms. So I was already happy. Thai women stepped on the court and just tried to light the court ablaze, bro. 38% from long range. Udom Suk and Kunchan are hoopers, bro.
Yeah,
My
facts.
God.
Facts,
They
though,
were
yeah.
so good. And look, obviously they only won 1 out of 3 games in the pool, but they lost a nail biter to Australia. It was a close game, and that Australia team won bad.
Yeah.
So I really like the way these Thai women stepped up. It was a style of 3x3 basketball that I enjoy, right? So they really went like all out, balls to the wall twos, like just as many twos as they could try to get up. I didn't mind their style at all. And look, if you would have told me before this tournament that on the FIBA 3x3 Instagram there would be a highlight with a Thai national team in there, I would have laughed at you and I would have walked away. And
Yeah.
they broke some ankles, bro. Like they really went at teams.
Did you get that bar, boss? Bro, made her touch earth like an excavator.
Yes, I did get that.
See out there digging for dinosaur bones. That was terrible. That was yeah, but I was impressed. I was impressed with them, and obviously we'll get into the Asia Cup preview later.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling, a sneaky suspicion, we might be bringing them up again.
Yeah.
All right, but Vince, can I get my second biggest takeaway?
Well, before you do,
Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Against France, Kusha 4 for 4 behind the arc. Udom Suk 5 for 5 behind the arc. They, kid you not, that basketball was the size of Thailand. Like it didn't matter where they were shooting from. They were going to knock it down. I was highly impressed of the fearlessness of their saying, "Hey, you know what? We up first. We playing." But yeah, Kyle, guys, had to give them a shout out.
No, they came with some fight for sure. A team that came with the most fight, in my opinion, that was the most impressive, biggest shock. It's my second biggest takeaway was Australia. Vince said the boys from down under are rising up.
Yep.
I'm gonna borrow that to Asia Cup. But
Pause.
listen, oh God,
That's not a pause,
and y'all
man.
made it through. Y'all made it through a complete show last
we
time.
did.
without
We
me,
did.
with no pauses. And now that's an undeserving pause.
Yeah, that was
I
didn't know what I- like,
Come on, bro.
come on,
bro.
man.
Cool.
You're
All
sleep
right.
deprived. We know. Seth, keep
You
your
know
up,
what
but
my bad.
come on.
Okay, but Australia to me
Yeah.
are more. They prove that they're more than just a player in Asia.
Yeah.
There's teams that compete in the Asia Cup get a lot of flack. You're not playing against the best. You're not playing against the Europeans who dominate. So, oftentimes that Asia Cup gold comes with an asterisk, whether it's Australia, whether it's Mongolia, whether it's China. Teams kind of look and say, yeah, okay, yeah, you won the Asia Cup. But I think that they serve notice. Not so much the women, bronze medals as well, but I think that the women medaled at the World Cup a couple years back. They got a bronze medal there, so the women have been in contention. They've proven that they belong on that stage, but the men's team have not been able to prove it outside of the Asia Cup. This new squad they done put together with John Stith, the dude that looked just like Giannis Antetokounmpo with big boulder shoulders, and Alex Higgins Titsa. That kid, number one, Alex, I'll focus on him. He's going to be a special 3x3 player. You heard me say it here and now. He's got everything in the package. He's got height. He's got dexterity. His defense is crazy. He's blocking shots. He can play above the rim. He can shoot it. He's youthful. When I saw him, I said, okay, they got something. They got something on the Barbie down there. They got some ingredients with this team. And to watch what they did with that American team, I'm not harping on that American team. I know that they're somewhat newly constructed. I mean, you add in Caruso, it takes some time to adjust, but maybe the first time they beat them in the pool phase, I said, okay, USA had their guards down. But when it comes to a medal, then we'll really see. And they beat them boys again, handedly. In the same way. USA made it come back there at the end there, made it close. Maybe the game's over if James Parrott makes that layup.
That's true.
But for Australia to pull out that win and the individual performance of Alex Higgins, for me, they can compete. To me, they can compete with the European teams. I'd like to see these guys on the pro tour more. I
Yes.
can't wait to see them at the Asia Cup. But Australia are players, and it ain't just in Asia. It's on a global scale. That's what they proved to me.
Man, I gotta admit, and I was gonna say this for later, but since we talk about him, I looked at Higgins. He had a temptation mustache as if he auditioned for Earth, Wind, and Fire. But I
Oh
gotta
my
admit, you're
goodness.
gonna like this. I wrote this for you, Kyle. He's a shining star. He wasn't too proud to beg for the rock, and he boogied in the 3x3
Shining star.
Wonderland. All right.
No matter who you are, shining bright to see.
Prove me wrong. Hey, I looked at him and said he got an R&B album like this.
Yo, hey, when I first saw him, I was like, man, he kind of looks like he could be either a DeBarge brother.
Yeah,
He looked
Oh God.
like a young Lionel Richie.
yeah, he did.
I said, who is this? But I had to ditch the jokes on him because when I saw him hoop, I said he ain't no joke at all. This dude is serious.
You a
So
star.
props to him. Yeah.
Bars, man. How you feel about that?
I just watching them made me wonder if they transition into our pro circuit, and that's a big if. Look, Australia is separated from a lot of the organizing countries in 3x3. Of course, they organize some stuff themselves. Shout out the CLB, part of the 3x3XE series, but with some teams. But these fellas ain't on the 3x3XE teams. So they are not on a FIBA 3x3 Pro team just yet. They are just the Australian national team. And there's not a lot of stuff in the proximity of that country being organized. You always have to take a long flight. You always have to dedicate time. These guys are still 5-on-5 basketball players, which, again, if they stepped onto the pro circuit, I'd love that. I want that. I really wish they would. But I don't know if we'll see them. And I'm very much hoping we will.
Well, that's always been the hang up though with Australia, and that's the reason why we don't see them as much on the pro tours because the difficulty organizing and getting them on the pro tour, and hell, they're in the world of their own over there in Australia. So the travel is always going to be, very difficult to qualify and to participate in challengers. So listen, it could be wishful thinking. I'm just saying that the nucleus that they have, the core that they have, the youth that they have with that team. I see big potential with them if they can consistently get in the mix. And I mean, that wasn't Serbia's full team, but they pushed Serbia to the brink, pushed them to overtime, had a chance to win that game. So
Yeah, and that's
I like what I see.
yeah, and that's with not a lot of 3x3 experience. Again, mind you, these guys, I mean, they don't have much experience. Davey played in the Asia Cup last year. The guy that looks like Antetokounmpo, keeps forgetting his name, Stith? Stith.
Yeah, John Stith.
He played in one challenger in
Yeah.
2022. That's
Wow.
it.
But he was so
That's
passionate.
all their experience, bro.
Yeah, I love the way he played. He was in it. Like he took the foul seriously. He took defense seriously.
Facts.
He was one of the top players of the tournament. And as Bas just said, he just started this game. How many times we see somebody start 3x3 and just be like a chicken with their head cut off, not
Well-
know what's going on, running around? He was in the program, and I give him hats off. We see him on the pro circuit. Maybe there might be a team that may scoop him up, and he could have a
Fingers
career.
crossed.
Hey, well, he would have been MVP had it not been for Higgins. Had it not been for Higgins, then he would have been MVP. I think he was the MVP of the medal game for sure against the USA. So shout out to the Aussies, man. I don't want to give away the rest of the show when we start previewing the Asia Cup, but I got some high hopes for these guys.
Well, I just want to do this because I remember when I did my bogus pick that a certain country was gonna go far, and the mountain said, "Oh, word! You think they're gonna take out the number one team in 3x3 that's been going on for years? Also take out defending world champions. Also take up the Euro Cup champions, and they actually did pretty darn good. I'm talking about Madagascar, 21-19 against Serbia. Oh my God! All right, against Austria, I said that was a 7-point, but they still played well. But then going against the Netherlands, Olympic champions, number one team in the world, and they went pound for pound, bar for bar. A couple of shots from Liv did not go down, but they could have took them out in advance. I was impressed by that team, and that was a true dark horse of the Champions Cup, in my opinion.
And Vince, I was with you, because we saw Madagascar. Well, you've seen them the last couple of Africa Cups. I saw them a couple of years ago. And listen, their guard duo is crazy. Their guard duo, talent-wise,
Yeah.
are very, very talented players. But what I messaged you on WhatsApp is what I feel about them is that, you got to become a team. That means taking these individual parts and making them a collective. So they got, some really exciting players that are really talented, but they haven't meshed yet. They're not a cohesive unit yet. But I'd say in the future, they're going to provide for some exciting games. They might shock some people. I think that they're my favorite underdog to pick because they could actually win.
Yeah,
I agree.
You were saying that.
Yeah, no. So I agree, but once again, it comes down to this for me. They are so tantalizingly close, but just short. And it is every time they step outside of the African continent, right? Africa Cup, sure. But once they step into the pro circuit, once they stepped onto the Olympic qualification tournaments last year, World Cup a couple years ago, tantalizingly close. And Kyle, as you mentioned, the duo of Ellie and Livio, and their last names I'm gonna leave out. No, I got them.
They're
Actually,
pretty good pronouncing their last names during the tournament. Don't ask me to say them now. I need paper. I need to spell it out.
You did well. I listened to you. You did well. But it's Randria Mampionona and Razzianarivo. So I got them. But you know what you're going to get with them. You're going to get a healthy diet of opportunistic twos. They're going to try to keep going at you. But where I saw their inexperience, again, and we've now seen them a couple of times, where I saw their inexperience again is at the end of that game against the Netherlands when they were down 2 and they went for 1. They got a layup instead of getting a ball to those two guys. Yeah. They went into one of their bigs and got a layup, whereas you want to try to tie the game, and they just didn't. They didn't have the wherewithal. They didn't have the awareness. They didn't know the game of 3x3 all that well. And Kyle, I think what I'm getting to is that tantalizingly close. What I'm getting to is if they would just play more. And I think we feel the same about a lot of teams. Australia kind of mentioned the same thing. If they would play more, if they would get more opportunities, as Madagascar also not a country with a lot of 3x3 organizers in proximity, if they would get more opportunities and would see more of them on the pro circuit, I'm sure they would grow into games like this because they are always on the brink. They're always right there, and they always lose that game. But if they could win these games, look, they were 0-3. They could have might as well have been 2-1.
Yeah.
Beating Serbia and the Netherlands coming out of pool play. And the same thing happens every time. So I'm hoping to see more of them. Look, we have our first challenger on the African continent this year in Rwanda. I'm hoping to see them there. I know their federation works really hard. They host the Africa Cup, do all the other things that they're supposed to try to get these fellas more looks into the 3x3 circuit, and I'm hoping to see more of them.
Vince, what'd you think about USA? They're my third biggest takeaway.
Bro,
I want to know what you think about the red, white, and blue out there in Bangkok, bro.
The red, white, and blue. Look, I ain't gonna take away my passport anytime soon, but they gotta stop teasing me, bro. You gotta stop teasing me, guys. You guys have not weapons now. Getting Henry Caruso, yes, that's a little bit of a change. I mean, he is a dominant force. When he's on the court, he does want to take control. But now you got to work together. Big Cinnamon was trying his best. James Parrott rising up to the top. Had some good bangers as he does. Dylan Travis always gives 100%, but you were running a decent race, but you kept tripping along the way. You just kept tripping. You couldn't just keep your regular pattern. Stop being extra. Stop getting fancy. Stop being, American for a second and just play the dang game because they would have been in it. But they beat them. I really think they beat themselves. I think teams didn't beat them. I think they beat themselves. And that was my opinion with them.
Okay. My takeaway from them is not as fiery as yours. But was I disappointed? I think somewhat. I think that they're still searching for an identity. I think that James Parrott has proven that he should be the number one option. I think that Mitch Hahn he's got tantalizing potential because at his size and with his skill set, I mean, he should be your certified 1A or number 2. Like he can be that good.
Yeah.
I think Dylan Travis has settled into his role on the team and what he's going to do. They don't have Trigger Trey this year. They've gone for some more athleticism with Caruso. I think he's going to step into that spot, obviously, and it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
You know, this is our first look at them in a tournament as their newly constructed team. We expect this team to play on the Pro Tour as Team Miami. So, you know, you like what Caruso brings to the table in terms of his energy, his rebounding, his defense. He brought it, but I still haven't seen him just it. They never look in sync.
That's
They look
what I'm
frustrated.
saying.
Dylan Travis has got to play better.
Uh,
The real deal's got to play better. That was not a good tournament for him. Mitch Hahn started off high, and which sometimes he has a propensity to do is he'll play really well one game or even 2 games, and then you start to see him tail off. He starts to get frustrated, you know, gets into it with the officials, then like this call, and his production starts to dip. And then there's more pressure on Parrott. James has got to make his free throws, and he got to finish that dunk on Stith.
oh yeah, that
And
would have been nasty.
Oh, he's got to finish that dunk on Stith, and if he just makes the crib. If he just makes the crib, USA are on the podium at the end of the day, and they beat Australia. But to me, these have been bugaboos. I mean, these have always haunted this team. It's those silly mistakes, it's the missed free throws, it's the missed layup from incredibly talented players and a good team. But I don't know, how good are they if they continue to do stuff like this? You see what I mean?
All right, let me get in on this. To me, a couple. So I have 17 notes I want to get out here. I'll pick a couple. One, I think USA basketball, Team USA, Miami, whatever. This team has to make a conscious choice whether they want to play system-based 3x3 or whether they want to play flow-based 3x3. I think last year, at the end of the year, Mitch Hahn, Dylan Travis, and James Parrott, together with Trey Bardsley, proved that they are a flow-based 3x3 basketball team. They are riding that high that you get out of hitting opportunistic twos. They play a very fast pace. They try to get you on your heels, and they try to put their pedal to the metal and then try to keep going off of a hot start. I think that works for them. Now, I think Caruso is more of a system player because he was forced into one playing for Princeton. I don't think he plays that flow type of basketball well. I don't think
agree.
he is a flow basketball player. And I don't think, let's be very blunt here, I don't think they need a secondary creator after Hahn and Parrott can already do a lot of the heavy lifting on offense. I think they need a shooter. And that's not what Caruso is. He's a decent shooter. He's not a great shooter. Trey Bardsley is a great shooter. He just doesn't play any defense and he doesn't rebound. So there's one thing. Now the next is, and as you alluded to, Parrott looks like he could be a 1A. And I love James Parrott, and he knows this. He does not have the personality of an alpha dog, bro. He plays best when he's an underdog. He plays best when he's not expected to do well, and there's a lot of pressure on this Team USA after last year's Olympics to step in to maybe the number 1 seed in the world. Like, I think that's what they expect. With the addition of Caruso, with the addition of Kelly, I think Team USA basketball is expecting them to be the best team in the world. I don't think that's where James Parrott shines. I wish he could, because he's a very good 3x3 player. I love watching him play. He brings a lot of stuff. He's improved tremendously over the last few years. But I don't think he fits that role. I think if you want to have an alpha dog on that team, it should be Mitch Hahn, because he clearly has the personality to do that. And Parrott, he works well off of that. But again, to me still, it's a choice between playing in a system and playing outside of a system and playing free and loose, and I think that's when they are at their best. But then Caruso doesn't fit. So I don't understand the construction of this team. I think over time we'll see which direction they go.
I think that Dylan Travis is also a system player. I think they got 2 system players in Caruso and Dylan that would thrive in a system format. And Hahn and Parrott are more kind of free flowing. I don't know, you know, I'm no specialist in personnel, but I'm curious to see with time if they're able to accentuate everybody's talent on
Yeah.
that team and utilize everybody to their maximum ability. And I want to see what that team looks like. We didn't see it first tournament of the year, but I'm curious what they're going to look like on the pro tour, man, to be honest.
They're gonna be good, and I want to make sure people understand when I say with them stop being American, it's just stop getting intimidated with yourself. Because I think we came to a point in this country is that we come in with our chest out. We're supposed to win at ball and stuff like that. But as you just said, there's so much pressure on us. Sometimes that is your Achilles heel. Because
Yeah.
now you're fighting yourself because I have to be the best. So now you're putting more pressure on you. Play the game. Bas just said that free flowing play. Look, Henry, we know the Princeton offense. Screen, cut, bomb. That's the Princeton offense. It's very structured. Dylan, I think, could come out of that a little bit because we see him go like a wild dog. He'll be like a ace card, a joker in the deck, and just do what he needs to do. But when you got Hahn and James Parent, that is one of them guys that you could basically say, hey, yo, go have fun. And they can drop 6-7 points easy a game, maybe even more. Then it's like, all right, stop getting in your heads and just play the game. That's all I'm saying with them.
And Caruso has got to become a scoring threat in some capacity. Right now, his role is hustle man, rebound man, defense man, and he's perfectly happy with that. But to me, he's got to give him 3 points a game, 3 to 4 points. He can give him 3.
No, I said increase
No, you want 5? I don't. Yeah, he could, but I think he can. I think he's a walking 5-and-5 dude a game for sure.
That's what I'm saying. But they got to figure out how to get him there, though. They got to figure out how to get him there.
It ain't shooting twos. Like,
No, it's not.
You know,
but that's what that team's built on, though.
I think that's a weakness on any 3x3 team. You mentioned it earlier, Bas. You got to have some offense to your game. You have to be a threat. You have to be versatile in 3x3. Everybody on the floor. You know, otherwise people are going to be able to exploit you. You see it some with France. Like you mentioned Joko. Joko got wide open attempts from long range. He's a guard. He should be able to knock those down.
Yeah.
Imagine how much more productive their offense would be if he was a consistent threat shooting the ball. So, you know, I think it's a question mark. It's going to be a very curious season.
Here's the deal. But this next thing I'm going to go to the Bas because I think we talked about last, and then we're going to hit, the Age Cup after this. I think we hit everything with the champions. Can we give homage to Canadians' new reinforcer, Grant Allen?
Oh,
my
Sasha Fierce.
What?
Sasha Fierce.
I said, look, a few times, and I did a little more history. She only played like 6 games on the pro. She was on Calgary and stuff, so she's not. But when she didn't seem as tough, and she's lanky, and but this, I don't know what beast came out from the north, but she went in. Bas, you were watching it, and we were texting back and forth. Like, she impressed me a lot.
She was impressive, and look, I'll be very frank with you guys. I hadn't seen her play. This is my first time seeing her, hoop on a 3x3 court. And Vince, again, I took off of your takes in our last episode that she plays a little light. She's tall, but she doesn't, bully people around all that much. I think that's actually a strength because she is very light-footed for somebody that size, moves exceptionally well. And she's an enforcer as far as defensive on the defensive end because no one can shoot over her. I really like the way she plays. She had some good footwork too. She had a little bit of that dog in her, chasing down loose balls and stuff. Like I was thoroughly impressed.
Well, imagine this because Michelle Plouffe didn't play, and I didn't get any insight onto why she didn't play. If she's injured, okay, Vince might have something on that, but that's not my point. My point is, what Sasha Grant Allen did in place of Michelle, that was Michelle Plouffe production right there. She was that dominant. And Kat didn't play her best tournament.
That's true.
Casey did not play her best tournament. Sasha Grant Allen put that team on her shoulders and dominated, refused to lose.
Yep.
She went straight at Vega Jimeno like she was a rookie. I said, hold up, what the hell is going on here? Hey, Sasha Grant Allen, this could be a hot take. She's got a chance to be the most dominant player in women's 3x3.
Can we drop a bomb on that or something? What?
The most dominant women's player in 3x3. Did y'all not see her step out behind that 2-point arc?
Oh, she still shot two for 9.
Are those pain medications treating you well?
Hey, what? Okay. So look, I know you're gonna say Sunny G. Sunny G is definitely more polished, more rounded, but we haven't seen Sasha enough. She could be as good or better if given the opportunity. But look at Bas. Okay, well, Bas, you name somebody else that's more dominant, that has potential to be more dominant than her.
I think she has the tools. Agreed. She has the tools. But to crown someone after just one tournament, to crown someone after one great performance, that means you must have hit your head while you were in surgery. Somebody dropped the tool
set,
like
it was the skill set, bro. Like it was the drop step game. It was the aggression in the post. It was the touch from 6 feet away. It was stepping beyond a 2-point arc and splashing a couple of those. It was the heart that she showed when she saw that Cat was struggling. And she said, "Give me the damn ball. Get out of the way. I don't give two shits who's defending me. They about to get punished."
Yep.
I like that. And I think there's more of that to come.
It is.
And I hope so.
You said she had light feet. She was like a nice little boxer. She was Muhammad Ali a little bit, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee,
baby.
And she did that. It was good. And and also just a hot take. I did talk to Kat, and hopefully we can get now the crowned #1 women's 3x3 player in the world. Shout out to Kat, Kat Plouffe. Michelle was on mostly of a coaching aspect over there. She's fine. She's not hurt. But want to give what I heard more opportunity to Grant. So there's nothing really wrong. It was just, hey, she went there as a coach. So she was there supporting, as you saw. But that's nice having a good backup like that. To have a big that, as you said, any big in 3x3 that can at least knock down, I would say 2 to 3 2-pointers in a tournament is a force. Because those 2 points can go a long way.
No, for sure.
For sure. Can do that. And I have to admit, this year is good as fun. But now I have to ask you both, with this Champions Cup, what's the landscape for the rest of the year? Because we did see some of the top teams play. Some of the top teams did play. Like, we had the Netherlands had their squad, the Austria had this squad, Serbia's that. So I'm going to get that. Where do you think it's going?
Vince, we got to get you a schedule. I'll tell you exactly where it's going. Singapore, knucklehead. Asia Cup is coming up next.
Yep.
We talked about this. We got some teams to watch, some players to watch. Bas, are you even listening? Look at Bas is just completely zoned out.
I'm getting a text from my wife, bro. This is the stage. This is the stage in my marriage and relationship. I have to pay attention to that.
I know that text from Kirsten is saying, "Can you shut up there? Can you keep it down?"
Possibly.
Everything Kyle says is right, Bas. Now come to bed.
All right. Now, again, we talked about the Champions Cup. Next, let's hit the Asia Cup. Singapore. Beautiful place to go to. I've been there myself. Hot as hell as well. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You sweat tying your shoes, and which, when it comes to 3x3, with them 10 minutes could be a factor. I want you to start off with Bas. What do you think we can expect to see from these teams coming from Asia?
Look, let me be frank with you guys. I haven't watched much of the Asia Cup in the past. This is one of the tournaments that falls outside of my scope of 3x3, and I am addicted to watching 3x3. I've watched some of the 3x3.exe series in the last few weeks. Trust me.
That's crazy.
So I watch a lot, and I tend to watch the finals and the last day of the Asia Cup. I tend to skip the pool play. Just not because I think it's bad, just because there's a lot of countries in there that we don't see much of on the pro circuit and in other instances, and because it's in March. So, it's outside of kind of the scope of the season. But anyway, I looked up some stuff. I remembered some stuff from the last few years, so I got some teams to watch. And look, on the women's end, it's very, very easy for me. It is the Avengers, Australia. So,
Avengers? That's what you
look, they didn't win the Champions Cup, did they?
No.
Okay, you're right.
Third place on the Champions Cup. They picked the best part of that team, Good Child, and they put her on what was already a really good team from last year with Marina Whittle, Alex Wilson, and Emily Maley. Now, disclaimer here. For the people at home listening, we are recording this on Sunday, the 23rd, so we're a couple of days out from the Asia Cup. Rosters might still change, as they did from our last episode when we recorded for the Champions Cup.
Yeah.
Who knows what Australia will do? But for now, we have Marina Whittle, Alex Wilson, Annalie Maley, and Goodchild, who's really, really impressive in the Champions Cup. She was a leading scorer with Sasha Grant Allen.
Yeah.
So I like that they put together this squad, and nothing against Lauren Mansfield, but I think this is a clear upgrade. And I think they're going to dominate the competition and win again, as they already have 4 out of 7 editions. Hot take.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a really hot take, boss. Australia winning a fourth gold medal at the event. No, but I can't disagree with you. You know, when it came to the women's teams to watch, of course I had to go with Australia. Uh, for the same reasons. I think Goodchild is going to be a star, and she is an upgrade from Mansfield without a doubt. Alex Wilson is incredibly underrated on that team. Marina Whittle, oh my, when that team is playing full go, forget it. They're gonna win gold. But don't sleep on China.
Yep.
They're
never
always
gets-
strong. Wen Xia Li is a shooter. They got a big Yu Yan Li. She can also shoot it, plays well on the inside. China are always a player at the Asia Cup. I haven't seen this team play together a lot, but I'm gonna throw China in there and Japan.
I was gonna say that.
Kills. Look at Bob's face. Yes, Bob.
Yo.
Japan. 5'2" Manana, Nisha. She's a quick guard. She can shoot. I've seen her play, I think, once, right? Takahashi has been, I don't want to say a mainstay, but I saw her in the women's series last year. They haven't medaled since 2019, so I know they're hungry. And, I think there's a huge drop-off after, say, Australia. No. There's a drop-off after Australia and China, right? There's some picks. You can put Thailand in there if you want. I know y'all are hot on Thailand team, but I didn't pick them for a reason. The Republic of Korea, you can put in there. Hong Kong has a team in there as well. But to me, all those teams are in the same group. To me, there's two favorites to go for gold. It's China and it's Australia. Oh, and I'm gonna throw Mongolia in that group as well, that hodgepodge of teams that may or may not.
Hodgepodge. But Boz, you gotta explain the face, man, because you just gave them
What?
the disappointed uncle
What?
look.
Japan never wins anything because they always have their star player either get hurt or they are too short. Look, I love the way they play, but they never win.
They're fast, Boz. Come on.
They are
son.
very fast.
Yamamoto,
And they
come
can
on.
shoot. Remember, come on now.
Mauli.
Oh, Yamamoto and Mauli were really good. Yu Amura is a wonderful basketball player. They are not at this tournament.
All right, I was going out on a limb on that pick, but I'm sticking with it. And guess what? When we record the episode after the Asia Cup, Dushan, I want you to clip this. We're gonna run this back, and we're gonna make Boz eat crow
Hey, Crow.
on this very moment. That's an old school phrase. That's
There's
like
the Kansas coming out.
that's right. We're gonna make you eat. We're gonna make you eat crow on this one, Boz. Japan, let's go. Let's go.
All I say is I like the Japan pick, and I'm still on the Thailand, bandwagon. If they get destroyed on the boards, if they're able to find a tall diamond in the Emerald Buddha Temple, they may have more shot when it comes to the Asia Cup, and also, like I did there, doing research, baby.
Yeah, I saw you there.
That's it. But again, most Asia teams get destroyed on defensive and offensive boards. They are quick. Sometimes they get a real decent rebound by poking at it when it gets to the floor. But if they just find that one player that's just in a field meditating and just go, do you want to play 3x3? Them teams will be dominant. But with Thailand, I think what we saw in the Champions Cup, their shooting ability, I think they believe that they can compete more on the level and have people watching. I think they're going to come more prepared this next tournament, and they may be that dark horse. So I'm rooting for
Well,
Thailand right now.
I'm just curious who Bas has as the three contenders. You can't just go with Australia and then just leave it there like that was some going out on a little pick. Bas, come on, who else do you have then?
All right. So obviously I got Australia. Then I got New Zealand, who have also come in second twice over the last 2 years. And you didn't talk about them at all.
New team.
I don't care about that.
They got Fuchs Robertson on there. But
Fuchs
that's it.
Robertson?
No, not Fuchs Robertson.
Fuchs Robertson plays for Austria, bro. Again, look, Kyle was in surgery, and one of the tools for the surgeons went dunk, hit him in the forehead.
Hey,
gone.
Hey, let me say
Lost
something.
A couple brain cells there. It's all right.
I mean, Sharn.
It's not. It's.
I hate you.
Fuchs Robertson.
I meant
they got Pupuka Robati.
Pupuka Robati. Right? That's Stephen Adams. That's Stephen Adams' niece. She's coming back. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
But no, I'm not so. All right. Okay, New Zealand
and third, and this is going to tie into my player to watch. I think Mongolia is going to be, on the stanchion. I think they're going to grab a medal because of Kulan Onobatar and Butterdeen. They are a huge combination. Look, I don't think y'all realized the step and the leap, actually, that Kulan took last year.
Yeah.
From the women's series, so the pro circuit on the women's end, in 2023, where she averaged 4.2 points per game and was wildly inefficient in her shooting splits, to last year averaging 7.5 points per game with a good shooting clip. Butterdeen also averaging 7 points per game. I think that combination is deadly. I think these Mongolian women know how to battle, and I think Kulan's got another leap in her. So I think Mongolia is going to medal based off of her performance.
Okay.
All right.
I like that.
I won't argue with that one. But to me, they're in that group. And I just decided to throw Japan in there instead of Mongolia. We'll see. We'll see, boss.
Okay, I like it. Just want to say, when you said Pukeka Rabadi, I was like, maybe I don't know how to read anymore, because I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce that name.
But I said it properly. Y'all just didn't hear it. Y'all didn't hear it properly. That was the problem there.
Well, then we got to give some proper homage to on the men's side. All right, Kyle, you can start it off. Who you think is going to go far when it comes to the
Don't you dare take my pick. Don't you dare take my pick.
I'm going to take your pick. I'm going to take it. So y'all heard me talking, giving Australia praise earlier.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see them play in the Asia Cup. I think that competition won't be as tough as the Champions Cup was for them. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be the coming out party for Alex Higgins. Like, I think he's going to go crazy. Yeah. I'm going to throw Mongolia in there because finally the Archer is back. He's one of my players to watch. And my last team, Bas, Iran.
See, there you
All
go.
Right? They're bringing 2 players back from the squad that won silver at the last edition of the Asia Cup, Rahimi and Aghajanapur. The latter of the two, he's the better scorer. I think Iran as a country is actually a sleeper in 3x3. They got some talent in Iran. They got some real players.
Okay.
The more they play, and they start to, understand the nuances of 3x3 and get their system down, they are going to be tough. I would not be shocked if I wanted to make a dark horse kind of crazy pick, hot take. I would say Iran for gold. You hear me? Iran for gold.
I mean,
oh my goodness!
They had silver last year.
I'm going to Australia, but
look, I'll say this. There are instances where I don't like you. They are few and far apart. But this is clearly one of them because I have them written down as well. I thought I was going to be the only one, and you took my pick, so F you. Anyway, look, let me add to, because I actually agree with you. I think Iran is going to turn some heads after getting to the finals last year. And I watched that final day, and I rewatched some of their pool games. I think they're well coached. And on national team levels, teams are coached in 3x3. I know their coach is Luca Carvalho. He's a seasoned coach in 3x3. He's done some things in Brazil. He's kind of a global coach. He's doing multiple countries.
Mm-hmm.
And what stood out to me is the fact that even though they are a very low seed, we don't see much of them outside of the Asia Cup or anything at all, actually. They know the basics of the game of 3x3 at a high level. They don't play a lot of help side. They switch a lot. They play physical. They use the fouls to their advantage. They play a driving game, and especially Martin Aganyapur, he has that little float game in the mid-range, and that's very effective, and it's a very underrated shot in 3x3. They also brought back Rahimi, their leading rebounder, almost 6 rebounds a game in last year's Asia Cup. He was really good at running dribble handoffs, and dribble handoffs, again, a way of getting an advantage out of a two-man game. In his game at 3x3, which is a lot more court to work with than in 5-on-5 basketball. So dribble handoffs are hugely important. They come as the 14th seed. And look, you kind of alluded to this. Iran as a country, they have a really good basketball league. They have a great basketball culture. They have really good players. So underrated country as far as basketball in general. Definitely an underrated country as far as 3x3 basketball. One of those countries you'd love to see more of, as a lot of the countries we talk about now. So I'll take them into my top 3 as well. Another country, and this is my player to look out for as well. And I'm not sure if I should pick him, but I will, just because I think they're going to play a crazy high-paced style. Is Japan.
Okay.
Oh, now you want to go with Japan. now you're all in on Japan.
Arigato, Mr. Romato.
You see?
All right, look. No Toboy Ochai. No Worm. I mean, and look, we're still a couple days out, so they might switch up the roster. But no Worm, no Thomas Kennedy. It's a very, very short team that Japan is fielding here. And look, these guys, Deva, Igo, Nakanishi, and Ryo Ozawa. I think no one tops 6 foot. Let's be honest here. Maybe 6'1" at most. They have to play the most outrageous, fast-paced style of 3x3 to even get wins, because they're not going to get rebounds. Let me tell you that. They're not going to get any rebounds. They're not going to guard anyone to post. So they're going to have to play at breakneck speeds to get wins. But I'll say this. Ozawa is the player to watch for me in Japan. It could medal just because of him, because he has shown the ability to get hot, really hot. And I've watched some of the 3x3 XE series over the last few weeks where he plays for the Alphas, and they position him to be in that role, to be open, handle the rock, shoot a lot of twos, come off screen, shoot off of that. And when they up their style of their speed of play, he shines. So I think in this system that they should have with these 4 fellas on the roster, we could see Ozawa averaging 8-9 points a game if he plays well. And if he does, and look, he's hot and cold, so he could also average 4, and they'll be out of the pool.
Mm-hmm.
If he can get his efficiency at the right level, if he can get hot, Japan will medal.
Okay, I mean,
All right, Chang
like
Dynasty. We ain't heard your 3 teams.
I mean, I was gonna I just said about the temptation. I think Higgins is gonna go off in this. Okay, he's definitely gonna bring some soul into 3x3 in the Asia Cup. So Australia, I was going there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, since you guys go first, you guys kind of take my pick. Mongolia, Mongolia always is on that cusp of becoming the chance, but Australia usually just snatches away from them. I think they got it, but I don't know why you guys not talking about China. You're not talking about China at all. Like, they're not even in the squad no more. Like, they don't have some great players. We see Pen Yang get some work. Han Yu Guo, I mean, this guy shows passion. He knows how to get to the cup.
You're right. Han Yu Guo is one of my players to watch.
He
I like
is.
I like that pick, Vince.
He can go for sure.
He can go.
He's gonna go off.
He gonna go
Go
off.
off.
I don't know a lot about Dian Lanjiang, but 6'7" guy. Anybody who's over 6'5" in China, and also this squad has 2 6'5s, 1 6'7", and of course a 6'2". But we all seen China surprise us in big competitions because they know how to train and they know how to ball. They're the epitome of a structured system, a structured 3x3 country, and they can tell. What are you saying, Bas? I see you waving your finger.
Oh, look, all right. To me, Chinese 3x3 teams always feels like this. You know, when you watch old cartoons, Autobots, Metabots, whatever, they'd have a body, and that body would be kind of the structure. And they would screw on a new arm, screw on a new weapon, screw on a new leg or something. and just assemble new parts and then become the same kind of disappointing robot again. China feels so much like that. I love Han Yu-Guo. Zhang, a really good player on Fujian in years past. Xiang can go. Yan Peng, always kind of a disappointment in my eyes. I don't think he ever reached the potential I thought he would.
Yeah.
But these Chinese players individually can all shine, come together to usually disappoint the audience. They come together and never bring the winning spirit, even though Guo has a little fire in him. I'll give him that.
Guo got a lot of fire.
I think they took a bronze medal, if my memory serves me correctly. They took a bronze at the Asia Cup in, let's see, I'm pulling it up now.
2019, sure.
Yep. Okay.
They did take 2 bronzes. That's not winning. That's just beating bad competition.
Bas, you own one right now. He's on one, but I can't disagree with him, though. I mean, he is saying facts right now.
Yeah, he is. But now, those are my 3, and then we already alluded to it. Players to watch. You know, I still with Higgins. I still with Stith. If I pronounce it right, it's a Stith from
Stith.
Australia.
John Stith.
But I wanted to put Guo as the player to watch for this tournament.
I can see that.
I really think he, as you said, and I got the analogy, you know, we're nerds, you know, Metabots, that was an OG one, by the way. That was dope. Old kids, you got to be born in the 90s or 80s to get that. You're right, but I think he's a piece that could be a universal piece. I think he can be that fire. As I said before, like how Frank Segala can get in everyone's head on his team and rally them, I think Guo can do that. I mean, we see them make a play after play, and then, boom, China's back in the game. I really want to watch him on this tournament and see if China can, you know, move some heads. Bas, who do you think we should be watching?
I think I mentioned my players to watch. On the men's side, it's Ozawa for Japan. I think he can go off. I think I've went in on why I think he can go off. So, Kyle, who's your player to watch?
Anand Arianbol, the archer, is back. I think he's hungry. He's with the A team now, Bas, which we've been talking about. Once he gets officially moved to being on the A team at all times, I think it's his year to shine. And I think Alex Higgins Titsa, the bad boy from Australia. Those 2 guys, and I'm gonna throw Han Yu Guo in there as my 3rd player to watch it. But I think this is going to be a clash of 2 stars. Very likely Mongolia will play Australia for the gold. I think that's when we'll see Arianbol and Higgins go toe to toe. I'm looking forward to it. I got a front row seat.
Don't discount the absence of Enkbatar and Olbatar.
Yes, Groot. I saw that.
Is not on the roster. Groot's not on the roster so far. He could still be. Again, changes can be made until the night before the tournament. But so far, it's Arianbol, Davasambu, Enkbat, and Tsokt. And a big part of Arianbol's game is that high pick and roll with an Olbatar. If an Olbatar's not there, who's going to set the screen? Because an Olbatar and Arianbol, they have that chemistry.
Well,
so we'll see.
An Olbatar wasn't there at the Asia Cup 2 years ago when Arianbol hit the game winner, won gold MVP. He was playing with the old heads, and
True.
He got it done. So I'm not so worried about him not having his partner in crime. I kind of want to see him be the go-to guy on this team, you know, with a lot of time to sit down and think about his mistake at the OQTs. I expect him to be hungry this year. So
okay, and now we gotta give credit to the ladies, women that we're gonna watch. My 2 picks. One is obvious because I got to see her play it live in Edmonton. Actually, good child. You know, I think she's gonna do some more work as she does. But then I'm gonna say my Thailand ladies, Udom Suk. I think she's gonna come on fearless. I think she's really gonna step up. I personally was highly impressed on how she came out to everybody watching playing for the first time. I think now she'll get some jitters off. She's already good with the climate. She knows how to play in 7,000 degree weather, so the ball ain't that slippery. And I really think she's gonna just let it fly. It's gonna be like Hoosiers. 1, 2, 3, let it fly, and it's gonna let it rain. Those are 2 players I want to watch.
I got Udom Suk too. I would assume Bas has her on there. Across the board, Udom Suk.
Agreed.
Sharp shooter. Good child across the board for the Aussies.
I'll take Marina Whittle.
Oh yeah, yeah. Whittles is the proven and MVP of Asia Cup already. I got one that y'all probably wouldn't pick. Jiangping Zhang.
Okay.
Normally it's Jiating Zhang who we talking about on Team China. I'm talking about
Oh.
Jiangping Zhang.
Zhang Ping.
Also a big,
Yep.
but I think what impresses me about her game the most, she's got great touch near the basket for sure, but she's one of the better passing bigs too.
Okay.
Not as good as Jai Ting Jang, but she's got great vision, always looking for the cutting teammate. So she gets her teammates involved, but she's also a force in the post.
Mhm.
She could be in for a big tournament. I think if China do medal, it's going to be on her back. So she would be my third woman to watch.
So let's be frank here. You're picking
What?
the lady that scored 2.7 points per game at the Champions Cup to be your player to watch. Just trying to check in on you.
She didn't even play in the Champions
That's
Cup.
good.
Champagne Jang played in the Champions Cup.
Who'd she play for?
China.
No, there's no way she played for China.
She played for China.
No, she
2.7
didn't.
points per game.
No, I would have saw her, and if she scored 2.7 points a game,
It's hilarious.
I would have picked her. There's no way I would have picked her. So
Yeah. Well,
that had to be wrong. So
we might have to cut that piece out. But good pick, Kyle. Great pick. Yeah, let's call the surgeon after this. Let's see what he dropped.
Hey man, no, I'm
Baba.
checking that right now because
No,
Go ahead,
she
check.
played-
I'm on the website, bro.
Boss is right. It's Li Wang and Zhang.
No, it was not, man. Y'all
Go check the
tripping,
website.
bro.
Check the website, please.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm sticking with it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. So yeah.
Sound like, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm sticking with
Good
it.
pick.
It's Jiaping Jang for me. Like
You
she's
better
the
hope
next.
she has 17 key assists because them points ain't coming easy.
I'm sticking to my pick. Come on, Jang, do your thing.
Oh my goodness. Let's just really
All right.
quick. Hold on a second, boss. Let's just get 2.7. Okay. Player
Listen,
by
3 points. They wouldn't give her the ball, man. She's tough.
33%.
All right, I know she did well in the youth competitions, but
13
recency bias would tell me she's not going to be a great player in that tournament. But we'll see.
Let's see.
Boz, this is why you're the GOAT. This is why you're the GOAT. I love you so much for putting this man off his high horse so fast. But who you got, Boz?
I'm going to stick with Whittle. I'm going to go with, a combination between Kulan and Obatar and Adin Setsek Badardine. I don't know which one of the two to pick because they're both
You
clear.
can't
I
hedge
think
your bets, Boz.
all right, Kulan. I'll take Kulan
'cause
then.
you could pick 3 Australians. Really, you can go with Goodchild, Wilson, and Whittle.
I could probably do that, yes. But I'll go with Kulan. I'll go with Whittle. Third one, I don't know. It's a tough one. I'll take.
You said Udumsuk.
You said him, Suk.
Oh yeah, Udumsuk. You're right. I got 3 already.
Yeah,
You're right.
there's your 3.
We
Okay.
got you. All right, so
Well, we got a little bit to wet the palate for the Asia. I actually leave tomorrow, so I got
nice.
a long flight to Singapore.
Okay.
I'll be prepared for the weather, and we're gonna have some long days. I have Angelo Sakarakis, co-hosting the joint with me, so I'm expected to be fun. The first 2 days, getting through the qualifying draw is the toughest. It's a long competition. The QDs are the toughest, but once we trim the fat and we get it down to the main draw, I think that's when the competition obviously gets better. So I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna see what the Australians bring and if Mongolia is ready to take gold again.
And hot take would be this. From third to first, men's and women's, we're going to put it out there. I'll start it off, all right, with the women's third place. I'm going to go with, and this is going to be weird, I'm going to go with Japan. I think they're going to get third place first time. Think of that. Next, I got Mongolia. And number one, I got Australia. That's for my women. Who you got for the women's Boz?
So for women, I got Mongolia in third, New Zealand in second, Australia in first.
Okay. Kyle?
Kangaroos for gold, Mongolia for silver, China for bronze.
Your MVP. Your MVP. Sorry. She gonna go
China
the first
bronze.
team. All right, now with the men. Okay, I got third. Third, I have Mongolia. Second, I have China. And number one, I have Australia. That's who I have. Bas, don't give me that look.
All right. I got Australia in first.
Yeah.
I got Mongolia in second. I got Iran in third.
Oh, okay. Kyle.
I guess Boz just did that to pay me back because he completely stole. He stole. See, Boz is the one that he'll steal your notes and get an A on the test, and then take credit for the A on the test.
It's my main skill.
No, I'm playing. No, we just great minds think alike,
Yeah.
Boz. You know it is. My picks are chalk, just what Boz are. I think Australia will win gold. I think they're the most talented group. They also showed us they got the heart to compete. You know, these tournaments mean something to them. I think they'll just edge out Mongolia. I don't know if Aryan Bo can carry them all the way to gold again. And then Iran. I think they're a sexy pick. And make no mistake, I made my pick for gold, but I think that any one of those three could actually win it, including Iran, who right now I got as bronze medal winner.
All right, we got our
I
predictions.
like those picks.
This is nice. This is nice. Okay, this was a nice. It's great having you back, Kyle. You know, we miss you. But I love my brother Bas. I don't know.
Miss you too, man.
Should we tease them about what's gonna happen in the next couple of weeks, or should we wait until it happens?
No. I'll take this one. So I think we might record one after the Asia Cup to kind of look at the action of that tournament.
Yeah.
But then we are going to go into season preparations, and because it's season prep and it's a big pot, it might be a multi-part pod. I mean, you know, we might be busy for a few hours at that one. We figured, you know, it's more fun to bring the gang in. So we will be meeting up in Amsterdam for a couple days. Vince is flying out. Kyle's flying out. We're going to be hanging out in the dam. I'm bringing y'all to the crib. You're going to meet my son, my daughter. You know, I'm going to barbecue for you guys. You know, I just fixed my oven today. I cook some good food. So, no, I can't wait to hang out with you guys. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, we'll be in the dam for a few days. So, you know, anyone listening from the Netherlands or region, come hang out.
And we'll be at the 3x3 Unites studio.
Yes.
Look, don't miss that episode. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go up a notch. That's still a few weeks away. Obviously, we got the Asia Cup. We'll recap that, but just a little glimpse into the future. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, y'all, for sure.
Well, we're gonna be actually as a unit. It'll be the first time me meeting Bas in person. This man feels like an adopted family member that we've been pen paling literally for years. We worked together during the Olympics. We worked together with different kind of tours. But I'm so excited to be again with my newfound brother from Amsterdam, and then also my old brother. I mean, the cyborg himself, Kyle Montgomery. But let you guys know, you just listened to episode 6 of Word on the Streets. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also follow us on all social media platforms. And again, it is Word on the Streets. You're going to replace the E's with 3s. Thank you so much. And before we go, Kyle, you got something to say to the people?
Great job, fellas. Great job. I'm looking forward to the next episode. The closer we get to the pro season, the more anxious I get. So looking forward to the next one. Appreciate y'all guys.
All right, Bas.
All right, look, I can't wait to see y'all in a couple weeks. I'm excited to hang out. And I'm excited for the Asia Cup. Everybody tune in. You know, it's going to be from Singapore. I think it starts on, Kyle, hit me up here. Wednesday?
Yes, on Wednesday. Don't be like Boz, though. Tune in for the entire Asia Cup, ladies and gentlemen.
I might watch the pool games this time.
That includes the qualifying draw. Don't show up on medal day.
I might watch the pools this time. I'm not sure if I'll watch the qualifying draw, but you know, I'll make a more concerted effort, you know, to dip my toe into Asian 3x3.
All right, 3x3 family. That's going to be March 26th to the 30th. Tune in, go on YouTube, FIBA 3x3. But this is Word on the Streets. I'm your man, Vince Chang, get the energy. That's Kyle Montgomery and Bas Rozendaal. You guys have been amazing. See you guys later. Peace out and see you in Amsterdam.